for Lydia, she's pretty easy. She has a couple extra parts because of the flower pot. So what we're going to start with is the flower pot. As you can see, I've laid it out and you can see the flower pot here. Technically, the hands also go with her because she's going to work together with the two hands on the flower pot with that. And then we're going to put her aside, or the hands and that aside. So we're going to start with our little pot here. You can do this dimensional if you want. I'm not sure if, oh, there's a texture on the flower pot, so make sure the texture side is up. Okay, so we're just gonna line up the darker color that goes on top of the terracotta. We're gonna put a little dot of glue. We're gonna put one on this. We have a little bit of a bigger center. That's for the white flower. So the flower pot's gonna go on top of this bottom thing. Okay, so roughly in this area. And then the white flower, just like the picture shows, is going to go on top. Okay, so we're almost there. We just have to put the hands on and the yellow in the center. So we're gonna put a little glue on each of these sides. If you want to change this out and put a button on there, that'd be super cute. I just have this really cute little yellow geometric center. I'm going to put a little bit of pop dot on the hands because I feel like the hands holding the pot would be a little bit farther out. So you guys have seen me use this roll before, I'm sure. This is just a foam tape roll that I get. I'm sure I get it at Amazon. You can cut your own size on them. You're not stuck to a size. So I'm gonna cut these in half for the hands. I'm gonna flip them over and put my foam on them. And then I'm gonna take off, obviously, to make them sticky. And then I'm going to stick the little hands on the sides of the pot. And there we have the main focus, if we can get it unstuck from my mat. Okay, so here is your flower pot with the hands. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it aside. So for the time being, we're just gonna put it over here. Okay, so that's the main focus of this. So what we're gonna do is go down to the hair with the little ties on it. Okay, one thing we do not want to do is tie too tight, or you can rip the paper. If you do happen to rip the paper that the hair is, it's not a big deal. You just have to piece it back together. Okay, so for your ribbon that we provided for the hair, we're just gonna take it, fold it in half, and cut it into 2 parts. Okay, this is very, very simple. And then I'm going to just tie. It can be pretty tight, but just don't really yank on it. You might, depending on how long you want them, you might just want to tie it one time. Okay, so we're going to tie one on each of the little pigtails. And then you'll obviously, as you can see from here, you have plenty left over. So I'm going to take my fabric scissors, if they're going to work this time. They're a little sticky, I don't know. And then we're going to, I am not going to be able to use those scissors. Okay, someone's in trouble at my house. Okay, you're just going to cut them on an angle, roughly the same length. And then once we get that done, we're gonna put that aside. Hold on, if I can get a hold of it. I just find doing this beforehand is a little bit easier, so you're not contending with the whole piece or if something's still maybe a little tacky from gluing it. Okay, so this is how her hair will look before we put it on. So we're gonna take that and put that up on top. So those are done, we know those are done. So next thing we're gonna do, we are going to take, these are the feet. You will see one foot is slightly elevated. So she's kind of got like a little dance she's doing, and the skirt, same thing. So there's a big swish on this side. You can do it any way you want to do, but this is how we put ours together. Okay? So, and you can always trim it if you want to put the boots in a different kind of way, that's fine. You can do whatever you'd like. So again, to give it some movement, we leave these together. Take off the tape, take the little dress, put that on top. You're not doing anything with the hat right this second. Now, for this stripe that goes on her little dress. It's just like we did on the curved one. We made it so it's a little bit longer, but it goes kind of towards the bottom to give it a little bit more visual movement. So we're just gonna use a little bit. Okay, and again, you're gonna see, I did not run it all the way to the edge. You can see right here that there's a little piece sticking off. So I flipped it over, snipped it off. Okay, now she looks perfect. So the next piece that goes on this is going to be her hair. These are always kind of funny to put together because there is no nose. Okay, and if you can see from the picture, the hair goes down pretty far. We want her to have a little bit of a curve where it's not touching this boot, but it is on this side. So it looks like she's kind of dancing. So we're gonna put, I'm gonna stick with my foam core right now. And I'm gonna put a little bit on this corner. It's going to overlap a little bit, but you're gonna be laying it down on the page, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just making sure I'm in the right spot. So again, you're gonna kind of put it on a little angle so it looks like she's dancing with her little flower pot, because she's so excited that she's got her little flower pot. Okay, and you can see underneath there, you can see the cutting board underneath that. I'm stuck to the thing. That's okay. You're gonna be covering all of that up, and I'll show you in a second. Okay, so there's a, you can see beyond here in that area, there's a little hole. Her nose is gonna be covering that up, and the flower pot's gonna be covering that up. So the next thing we're going to do is move her up and aside. We're going to put the other antlers on here. Antennae, I guess it's not antlers. Those are deer, right? Okay, so we're gonna cut these apart. Same thing. If you need to trim them up, sometimes it's hard getting in those little areas. We do the best that we can, but you know, I'm pretty sure you can even that up. So same thing that we did in the last one. I'm gonna put these a little farther apart because I feel like it just makes them look a little funnier. Okay. Okay, so the antenna are on that and my finger. So now we're gonna bring back the body. Her hair is going to go pretty far down. Just make sure your ribbons are out of the way. So her hair is actually going to go, or her hat, I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay, so we're going to put adhesive along the top of her hair, like in this area. You're gonna cover the majority of it. I'm gonna hold down the ribbon when I do this. And I'm gonna push that down. It's the foam tape that I did before, not, okay. So now we have another potato nose. And as you can see from the bottom, I didn't trim it perfectly. So I just trimmed that up. Give her some foam tape, which I did too long. Put on the foam tape. All of our pieces are created the same way. I create them all. I'm Dana, and I create all of our gnomes. So, in all of our layouts and everything. So all of the gnomes have the little, what I call potato gnomes, or noses. This is where this goes. And if your layout calls for it, you can tip it this way, you can tip it this way. We did it this way, but you don't have to do that. So on the back of the flower, I am going to, I'm gonna do a little secret tip here, and you can do this if you'd like. If you don't want to pop it up, that's certainly okay. For the flower portion, I am not going to take the sticky off. Leave the sticky on. That way, if you want to later on, you can stick it down, but you do not have to. So the bottom part with the pot, that's sticky. This part, not sticky. So bring back Lydia. Take your little pot. And we just put it on a little bit of an angle. It's kind of covering her nose. If your ribbon, this is why I did not stick it down. If your ribbon, you can see it's behind it, just kind of stick it behind the nose if you want to, in order to get out, if you're having a problem. Now, that's my dryer, sorry. Now that we have it in place and it's where we want it, I'm going to stick it down. And that, everybody, is how to build Lydia.